So you've had a long career. You've seen many different cycles in real estate. You've seen changes in the market. We're in a changing market right now. What advice do you have for maybe newer realtors who haven't been through different markets before, or people who haven't seen a downturn or kind of a softening of this type before? What is your advice for how to kind of approach the opportunities that this creates? Hello, Star Power. This is Aaron Chadbourne, interviewer to our Star Power Stars, and I am so excited to bring you this edition of Stars Revisited. There are few people that embody real estate as a career and a passion as Rob Levy of Portland, Oregon, and Palm Springs, California. He was a 2006 star, and I'm so excited to be re-interviewing him again today.
So I've got a great story that really explains it very well, I think, because it covers a lot of different things. Back in 2012, I went to list a house for $340,000. I had sold them the house in 2006 for $680,000. So they were losing half the value of their house. It had turned down. It wasn't a short sale or foreclosure because they'd put half down. So they'd lost all that money, $400,000. I went out there. I was wearing a suit, everything else, because that's what I did then, and went into the house. And I don't mean to sound callous or anything, but at that time you'd go in with Kleenex because people were losing everything. It was sad times. And I guess it wasn't 2012. It would have been like 2009 or something. But anyway, bottom line is I got the house all listed. I walked outside and he said, "Is that your Mercedes over there?" He says, "What is that?" I said, "Oh, yeah, it's a E350 sedan." He said, "What year is that?" I said, 2006. He said, "So you bought that car with the commission you earned selling my last house and selling me this house, and now you've got the gall to come and put that in my driveway when I'm losing everything? You're not the type of realtor I want to work with." And he ripped up the listing agreement and threw it on the ground. And I was devastated. I just wanted to hug them and cry and say, "God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that." And I didn't realize what I was doing. Here I was in this fancy Mercedes and a fancy suit and everything else. So I literally went out the next day and bought a Chevy Volt, and I stopped wearing a suit or even a sport coat. I'm wearing this today for you, but I never wear a sport coat, or very, very rarely. And I dress kind of business casual Oregon. These days it's an untucked shirt and dress jeans and some nice shoes and stuff. And I completely changed my image. And I realized then that you've kind of got to relate more to the clients at that time. And those were some tough times. And so by doing that and sharing war stories of some things that I'd gone through with some houses and stuff like that, I felt I was better able to relate to my clients and be one of them. And so it's really important to try and be your client, dress like your client and so on. Well, not always dress down to the level, but just slightly above. Just don't go overkill. And so as far as the market's concerned, there's opportunities. There are some agents that are going to be struggling out there. There's going to be a lot of agents getting out of the business. There's some older agents. Well, there's two types of agents getting out of the business. Ones that probably never should have got in it in the first place and haven't treated it like a business. Ones that have not being able to pay their taxes and bills because they're buying bus benches and everything else with all that money rather than putting it away. And there's also older agents that are saying, next time the market slows down, I'm out of here. Those are the opportunities for the newer agents to buddy up with those older agents and maybe work out a plan to take over their business over time, paying them off over time. So there's tremendous opportunities out there for good, hardworking young agents. But I think it's important that people understand this is a career, it's not a hobby. And it can be very lucrative and it can be fun. I mean, I'm at the end of my career, or getting towards the end of my career, but I don't want to retire. It's fun. When I have some past client I've sold multiple houses to call me, it's like a buddy calling. You're catching up and it's, how's the kids? Oh, I got grandkids now. Do you? Yeah, I do. You know, all that sort of stuff. Or and then it's like my kids want to buy a house. And that's another interesting thing I've noticed. I've got 3 millennial kids, kind of around your age, and who with 3 millennial women in their lives. And what I've noticed is that millennial home buyers, which delayed their home buying, like my 3 kids graduated college and lived in our basement because they couldn't get jobs in a recession. They finally did buy houses, and then they've taken that equity and bought better houses. But what we're seeing now is that, you know, back then everybody's buying houses downtown or apartments or condos or whatever, and now they're buying houses in the suburbs. But what we're noticing is that that age group tends not to want to work with that age group. They seem to like the experience that some of us older realtors have. So there's another opportunity there because that's now the largest group. There are more millennials than there are baby boomers like me at this point in time. And they're all now finally buying houses. And when you read the studies, a lot of that's got to do with things like their parents are living longer and their parents lived in the burbs. So they're moving to the burbs because they tended to have kids late because of the recession and everything, and they want their parents' help, who are now starting to retire, to look after the kids, and vice versa. They want to look after the parents. Another interesting thing, you'd mentioned my Palm Springs market, that's a secondary market. So a secondary market for most of America is the sand and sun belts across the south and southwest, and Hawaii over here, Florida, Palm Springs, Phoenix, Albuquerque, markets like that, where in Palm Springs, for instance, 80% of the sales are second homes. Well, there's something going on right now called the silver tsunami. And what that's talking about is how baby boomers are hitting retirement age. So baby boomers, I believe right now, as this is being recorded, are somebody from about 58, 59 to about 76. So the majority of them have gone past 65, but only 40% have retired. So add to that our parents are living longer, and now baby boomers' parents are dying. I mean, my wife and I lost her mom and my dad just this year alone, and our favorite aunt, actually. So our parents are dying, and it's the largest transfer of wealth in the world's history going on just in the United States of America right now. So you've got a bunch of people that are retirement age that haven't retired, although quite a few have in the last year or so with COVID, that are starting to retire, that just came into a bunch of money. They're buying homes in secondary markets. So for the viewers that are, in those states that I just talked about, I'd be doing a massive focus on that. And one of the things that I've noticed is in Portland, when I send out my videos, it's all about real estate in Portland. In Palm Springs, when I'm sending out my videos, it's more to do with the lifestyle of Portland, because I'm trying to get them to buy into the lifestyle. The house is a secondary item, or the condo, whatever it is.